Shane Dawson said that he'd be releasing a new video this week, so this week. We all know what this week means. It means 10 seconds after the latest episode of YouTuber News comes out. Why don't you cover the new Shane video? No point, mate. It will never come out before YouTuber News. YouTuber News is famously the show with the finest week-old news. And on that note, let's get in with it, shall we, you gremlins? Get in with it? Gremlins? News? YouTubers have been aging themselves with FaceApp, but is this a nefarious plot by the Russians to get your personal data? Yes! Zoe Sugg filmed herself having a panic attack to raise awareness for the issue. Jeffree Star called Kylie Jenner's skincare line a complete joke. And of course it's the return of YouTuber Watch. Who'll be this? All this plus a good 30 minutes of clog dancing on this week's edition of YouTuber News. Hosted by me, Benedict Townsend, and brought to you by PopBuzz, the only website that's all in this together. And once we know that we're all stars, and we see that. We're all in this together, and it's Ben and the rat, but not that, 'cause he's bad now. What a falsetto. Where did that come from? Now, first story. FaceApp is a brand new 2-year-old app which lets you see what you'd look like if you're an old person, which is crazy. Imagine becoming an old person. Luckily, I'll never do that, thanks to plastic surgery and money. No, I'm just kidding. Age is something that will creep up on all of us, much like death. You will die. Probably soon. Anyway, on that note, let's take a look at some of these aged YouTubers. First up, we've got Shane Dawson. Oh, he looks a bit tired, doesn't he? He looks like a bit of a retired Santa Claus type situation. Ho ho no, that's what he says. You want to deliver these presents? Ho ho no. Haven't got the energy this year. Then you've got the Dolan twins, look like a couple of 80-year-old Lotharios. A couple of guys who'd worked their way around the nursing home. Tana Mojo looks like one of those groovy grandmas who like really lived it up in the 60s. You know, she's like bringing you cookies, but she's telling you these crazy stories. Like, I lived in Woodstock for 45 weeks. At one point, I thought I was my own dad. What is this? This isn't news. Emma Chamberlain has aged very well. She looks like she's one of those people who like lives outside and connects with the earth and has like a pottery shop. Jake Paul looks pretty good as an old man. He's like a bit of a silver fox. He looks like the kind of guy who'd be like a kindly president in a film. And he's like, I'm just the president. I'm just trying to get through. But then it turns out he's been selling enriched uranium to the North Koreans. This has been This News Story. Well, wasn't that fun? Nope. But now on to the actual news section of this story, which is that a lot of people have been alarmed by the terms and conditions of FaceApp, which is bizarre because this app came out like 3 years ago and we all already had this panic then. We all already know that FaceApp is bad. I don't know why we're doing this again. Here's just a sample of what you grant FaceApp permission to do when you join the app. You grant FaceApp a perpetual, irrevocable, non-exclusive, royalty-free, worldwide, fully paid, transferable, sub-licensable license to use, reproduce, modify, adapt, publish, translate, create derivative works from, distribute, publicly perform, and display your user content and any name, username, or likeness provided in connection with your user content in all media formats and channels, now known or later developed, without compensation to you. You are giving them total control over anything you put into that app, including your name, and they never have to pay you, and they can do this on technology that exists now or in the future, if I'm understanding this correctly. I'm not a lawyer. But it's worth it to see what you look like as a baby. If I were you, I would delete FaceApp and download the only app that matters, the Benedict Townsend app. The Benedict Townsend app. It's just viruses. At least we're open about it. It's literally just viruses. You can't even open it. Breaks your phone immediately. Our second story, a bit more of a serious story. Zoe Sugg, also known by her username Zoella, has filmed herself having a panic attack on her Instagram to raise awareness for the realities of living with anxiety. Zoe was at a restaurant with her boyfriend Alfie Days and her good friend Tanya Burr when she felt the beginnings of a panic attack coming on, and so she decided to go out and get some air, but also film a time-lapse of the process of what it's like to have a panic attack. Zoe has always been very open about having anxiety and having issues like this, and so this is just another example of her trying to raise awareness, and also, I suppose, normalize the fact that, you know, a lot of people do have panic attacks, and it's sadly just a part of life. Zoe said, over the past 15 years, I've done this a lot. In fact, for a good part of my early 20s, I spent half my time at restaurants getting fresh air outside, she wrote in the clip. So in other words, having a panic attack. Tanya was there. Zoe said she did a wonderful job sort of helping her calm down, just chatting her through it, telling her it was going to be okay. Zoe added, I just thought I'd share this little snippet with you because often it can look like people are having the most normal and glamorous evening, but you don't always know the full picture. It was actually way back in 2012 that Zoe started speaking quite openly about these things. She had a video called Dealing with Panic Attacks and Anxiety, where she spoke about her personal experience with anxiety and panic attacks to sort of give people some interesting insight into her perspective. Of course, if this is something that you suffer with or think you may suffer with, it's always best to talk to a professional about it. Simple Google search will bring up some helpful places. If you're in the UK, of course, we have the NHS. It's wonderful of Zoe to use her platform in a very positive way like this. Good on her. And for that, she wins our ceremonial sword of the week. Look at that. That is a fine stainless steel sword. and that will be Zoe's. It's so sharp and it's cutting both my hands right now. And if you want to pick that up, I guess we'll post it to you. We'll need several envelopes. Tough envelopes. Sorry, Tavin, he's my son. Next up, we've got a story about Jeffree Star calling out Kylie Jenner, but before that, due to overwhelming demand and definitely no hate, it's time to bring back the numbers segment of the show, a segment where I read out numbers tweeted at me by you, the viewers. Let's get numerical, my bitch. Today's numbers are the following: 13, 666, 64, 27, 14, 134,340, 82, 56, 1 million, 42, 87, and 21. That concludes the numbers segment of the show. Thank you for the numbers I'm reading. They have been really pleasing. Who could count without them? I ask in all honesty. Give them to me. Without a numbers segment, who am me? So bad. Our third story, Jeffree Star has called out Kylie Jenner's new skincare line, calling it a complete joke and basic. Which means it's time for everyone's favorite segment. Looks like it's going down. Hi, welcome to looks like it's going down. Jeffree Star has already called out Kylie Jenner this week. Called her skincare line basic. Looks like it's going down. I'll keep an eye on it, because things are going down. This has been looks like it's going down. This all started back in May 2019. Oh, how different we were back in May 2019. How young, how naive. When Jeffree teamed up with his good friend Shane Dawson to review some Kylie products. And at the time, Shane called the products basic. He said, they're really basic, but that's totally fine. And Jeffree agreed, saying, my face feels basic. I don't feel like myself. So there's already a little bit of a beef between Jeffree and Kylie when it comes to her makeup products. Now recently, Trend Mood announced Kylie's brand new skincare line called Kylie Summer Skin, and Jeffree replied to the post simply saying, ha 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 ha. One fan pulled up Jeffree, some would say correctly, because Jeffree posted a video not that long ago after the James Charles and Tati Westbrook drama, in which he said that he was no longer going to get involved in drama, and someone commented to him saying, are you the same person who said that you would not get involved in any scandals? You can't keep up with your own words. Be consistent and practice what you speak. And in the words of Jasmine Masters, and I oop. Am I doing that right? Nailed it. Jeffree clapped back at the fan, saying, you should probably have a seat, because as a human being on this planet, I am allowed to comment on anyone's releases. It's also my job. ... Her first skincare drop was a complete joke and basically a money grab. Man, he's not holding back. So relax before trying to come for me. I'd rather save millions of people money than let them be ripped off by a celebrity. For a second there, I thought he was going to say that he was going to save millions of people, but no, it's just money. Fans were divided on Jeffree's comments. Some agreed with him that this was a scam, that Kylie's products are not worth the money. Other people were saying, Jeffree, you keep getting embroiled in different dramas, in different scandals. Maybe just keep your nose out of it for once. But so far, Kylie herself has not responded. But what do you think about the topic? Write down your answers on a piece of paper, then burn it over a candle at midnight. Take the ash and swallow it, then go and whisper your opinions into an old oak tree, because it'll care more about it than I do. So it would be like I would talk about a YouTuber each week and just tell them what they got up to. That's a fantastic idea. I'll give that a go. You know what? We may be running against each other in our 2020 campaign, but an idea is an idea, and a good idea is like a rainbow with a smile on it. Now it's time for YouTuber Watch, a popular segment where I zero in on one YouTuber and tell you what they got up to this week. And this week it's, let's have a look. Oh, it's time for a Lucy and Lydia Concerto, an all-musical segment where I tell you about Lucy and Lydia and what they got up to this week. And a lot of people have been telling me to do Dan Howell. I don't know who that is. He won't feature. This will be a Lucy and Lydia Concerto, okay? It's time for Dan Howell Watch. Welcome to Dan Howell Watch. I'm FaceApp Tanamonjo. You kids don't know how good you got it. What's Dan been up to this week? Well, Dan took a break, as my brain just did for a second there, from his 2020 campaign and his YouTube career to go to the aquarium to have an aquatic time with all his fish friends. And Dan was walking around, he saw a manatee, he saw a stingray, he saw a goldfish, he saw a clownfish, He saw a clown. Oh wait, that's just Dan looking in the mirror because he's a bad 2020 candidate. The only person for president should be Benedict Townsend. All just part of the story. Don't worry about it, kids. And Dan was walking around, and then he saw a swordfish. It's a fish that has a sword. And the weird thing about this swordfish is that it looked an awful lot like a man who had painted himself silver and was just holding a sword in front of him and swimming around. And you could tell because the man's face was going extremely blue because he was struggling to hold his breath. Well, seems suspicious, but who am I to question anything? I am but a humble YouTube boy, so I will turn my back to this tank, leaving myself totally unguarded and just assume nothing will happen. And then as he was standing there, he could just hear vague splashing, like, can someone help me out? The side is very slippery. And water was hitting the back of his head. No, refuse to turn around. Sure, it's fine. Absolutely nothing bad's gonna happen. And then he heard a squelch behind him, as if a man had landed behind him. And he's like, huh? And he turned around, there was a criminal with a sword. And he had a sword, and the swordfish was a criminal with a sword. He's back again. And was it Phil? No, it's a new one. It's actually even a new one now. And he's got the sword, and he's gonna kill Dan, and he's gonna be murdered by the sword, and then he was shot by a blunderbuss. And who was at the end of the blunderbuss? It was Thomas Sanders. Eh, bonjour, it is I, Thomas Sanders, France's #1 YouTuber. I have shot and, let me be clear, murdered this criminal in order to save your life, Dan. There is blood on my hands I will never be able to wash off. At night, I will hear his screams. Thank you so much, Thomas. This pool of blood that used to be a man was about to attack me with a sword. You are a cold-blooded killer, and your eyes have lost all spark of joy. Truly, you are a horrible murderer now. Yes, thank you, Dan, and that's canon. Well, time to leave. What an adventure for Dan Howell. Better get back to the aquarium, because you know what they say, there's no better way to make a splash than at the aquarium. And this week's Dan Howell Watch is brought to you by the aquarium. No, hold on, Dad. You can't do sponsorships in the middle of Dan Howell Watch. What the hell? He snuck that one in. I didn't realize he was doing it. Classic aquarium trick. This has been Dan Howell Watch. Well, it's almost time to wrap up the show. But before that, let's rat up the show. I'm aware there's not been much rat in this episode, so I'm going to give the rat an open platform to perform some slam poetry. Rat, take it away, my groovy brother. Indiscernible screaming as always. Gotta love that rap. I'm Benedict Townsend. This has been YouTuber News, which airs every week right here on the YouTuber News YouTube channel and also over on Snapchat Discover. Don't forget to subscribe to the show if you haven't already by hitting subscribe down here, or I'll give you some clickable buttons at the end. And if you've enjoyed today's episode, not if you've enjoyed it, please could you hit like. It really helps us out with the algorithms and stuff. You know how YouTube is. Made out of wet tissue paper that's barely being held together. I'll be back next week with more YouTuber News, YouTuber Watch, rat-based intrigue, and I will finally be revealing what Dan Howell's gemstone is. Is it amethyst? Is it quartz? No, it isn't. Stop yelling at me. I'll tell you next week. Jesus, Dad. See you then. And now it's time for the outro segment, which I'm not good at. Thanks, Ben. Hi. If you want to see last week's episode, you can click here. If you want to subscribe to the show, I recommend you do. Best way to get the show first, you can click here. And if you want to see something else and isn't that good, you can click here. And in the meantime, I'll be staring at you slightly disappointed because I know what you did yesterday. I know what you did. And the sad part is it doesn't even surprise me.